Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I'm Zesty. It is December, it is Christmas time. So many of us are most likely getting in the spirit of gift giving, trying to figure out what we're giving our family and friends, trying to see what we can do that's different, creative, special. So in this video, I'm gonna show you guys how to make 4 different types of DIY Christmas gifts that I think that people will actually want. I had so much fun making all these gifts. They were really straightforward, easy, and fun. So I really hope that you guys enjoy watching this. I hope that it inspires you to make some DIY Christmas gifts that your family and friends will love. Starting off with some delicious decorative candles. I bought this lovely little container at Dollarama for $4, and I'm also using this little candle holder that I thrifted last year. For the first candle, I bought a Palo Santo candle at Winners that I melted down. I know you can buy your own soy wax and scents, but this ended up being cheaper for me, and I already love this scent, so I thought this was perfect. To melt this down, I brought some water to a simmer in a small pot and then placed the candle inside and let it melt for about an hour or so. After I melted it down, I took out the wick and let it cool slightly while I glued down the wicks in my little bowl. I also went ahead and glued down the wick for the smaller candle as well, and used some wooden skewers and tape to keep the wicks in place. I would 100% recommend gluing down your wicks when making any candles. If you don't, your wick could slide to the edge while burning, which can be a safety hazard. I saw a tip online from a candle maker that said that you should cool your wax a little before pouring it in order to prevent sinkholes, which in turn will give you a smoother finish. So when I poured this, I made sure to save a little extra wax since I was going to have to use that when applying my crystals and florals to it. So after the candle had cooled, I noticed that there was a few bubbles on the surface. So I used my heat gun to melt the top layer to smooth everything out, and that worked like a charm. As I was letting that cool, I remelted that little bit of wax that I had saved and then poured it onto the candle, making sure I had a nice even layer. And then I added some pretty crystals and rosebuds that I purchased from a local gift shop. One of my best friends recently got into crystals, so I'm personalizing this candle for her, and I think she's gonna love it. And after that, I let it cool and set completely before cutting the wicks down. For the small candle, I ended up melting down some vanilla scented candles that I had on hand from IKEA. These smell really lovely, and I think I got these in a pack of 24 for like $7 or something like that. So I basically just removed all of the metal lining and melted them down in the same candle container that I had left over, and repeated the same steps as before, except this time I didn't save any extra wax. When the candle had set, I used my heat gun to melt the top layer so that I could add some pretty dried florals for a nice touch. After it cooled completely, I cut the wick, and that finishes these candles. Look how cute they came out. I almost want to keep them, but I know 2 people who would love these as gifts. Up next is my DIY yarn pom-pom bookmark. I'm starting off with making a large pom-pom with 3 different yarns to add a little texture and pop of color. I used some cardboard that was about a finger length and approximately 1.5 inches wide to wrap the yarn around. I'm using 2 pieces of cardboard here only because one was too flimsy, so that's the only reason why I have 2, but you can use 1 if it's a little bit thicker. And also, when you're wrapping this around, you want to make sure that you're not wrapping too tightly, otherwise it's going to be really hard to cut. The more yarn you wrap around, the fluffier your pom-pom will be. So once your yarn looks something like this, you're going to want to cut the ends off and just make sure you're holding it together so that it doesn't unravel while you're doing that. And you're going to want to feed another piece of yarn through the opening, and that yarn is going to hold everything together. And as I was doing this, I also removed the cardboard inside. And I created a tight knot to hold it all together. And once you tie it together, it's going to basically look like a donut. I used my finger here to pull on some of the areas that looked a little tight so that when I cut it out, the pom-pom would be nice and even. And when that was done, I went ahead and cut all the way around it, making sure that I was cutting all of the loops. After that, I used my scissors to roughly even it out. I used a book to see how long I wanted the string to be before cutting it. And then I proceeded to make a smaller pom-pom using some white yarn. I decided to use my fingers instead of cardboard this time since I find it easier to make a small pom-pom this way. After cleaning up the edges a bit, I cut the long string the same size as the other one and tied the ends together so that both strings would be attached to each pom-pom. I then finished up by cleaning up both pom-poms until I was happy with the shape. And that completes this DIY. This was super quick and such a cute gift, especially for the book lover in your life. Up next is the perfect gift for a coffee lover. For this DIY, you will need a frame that has at least 2 inches of depth and that has a glass cover. If you can find one without writing on it, that is great. But if not, you can pick something like this up from the dollar store, and then you can just scrape off the writing like I'm doing here with a scraper tool. When removing the writing, I did it pretty gently to avoid scratching the glass. And when I was done, I made sure to give it a good wipe down with a damp cloth. So this frame is going to be filled with coffee beans, and the writing on the front is going to say "break in case of emergency." I was inspired by a similar frame I saw at a coffee shop and noticed that they sell all kinds of these on Etsy. After my glass was clean, I arranged some wooden letters that I picked up at the dollar store to see how they would look on the glass. I decided to spray paint them gold to give the frame a pop of color. After my letters were dry, I arranged them on the piece of paper that came inside the frame and lined them up. And then I went ahead and taped over them with some painter's tape so that it would be easy to transfer them onto the glass. So what I'm doing here is flipping the tape over and lining it up before applying some E6000 glue to the back of the letters. Once I had applied the glue, I attached them onto the glass and removed the paper to make sure that they all stuck on all right. Two of the letters didn't stick, so I just added some more glue and attached them on. I let this dry for about 3 hours before peeling all of the tape back. The last step is to fill the frame with coffee beans. So I went ahead and did that, making sure that it was super full so that the coffee beans would look all even throughout the frame. And that finishes this gift DIY. This is the perfect gift for the coffee lover, and I think it would look great in an office kitchen or in a regular kitchen. I think it's super cute. My last gift DIY of the video is a super easy one and a favorite amongst my family and friends. I'm going to show you how I make a delicious sleep spray. For this, you will need a glass spray bottle. I purchased a pack of these on Amazon last year. You are also going to need some witch hazel as well as a blend of essential oils that you love. This blend is made for sleep and is 100% pure, which I love. You're also going to need some water for this. So you're going to want to start by filling up your spray bottle halfway with witch hazel, and then you're going to fill the remaining half with water. And just make sure to leave a little room at the top for the essential oil. This is a 75 milliliter bottle, and I usually add between 20 to 25 drops of essential oils to it. Make sure you tighten the top and give it a generous shake before testing it out. If you want more fragrance, you can just adjust and add a little bit more drops of oil. For an extra added touch, I made a tag for the spray bottle using these tags I got from the dollar store, as well as a thin black marker. This is a super simple DIY, but is such a crowd pleaser. I am so excited to gift this again this year because I know that it was a huge favorite last year. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe for more. I really hope that this video has inspired you and helped you out a bit with ideas for DIY Christmas gifts. And I hope that you all enjoy this amazing holiday season and have a Merry Christmas.